back with another edition, a Thursday night edition of the Bold Prediction Sports Media Podcast. And as tradition, as always, I'm that dude with the beard. He's Mr. KC by the way of the 813. Folks, we are here, another week of coverage, another week of talking about how to fix certain teams in the NFL. And before we dive into that, all I want to do is this for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen,
Mm.
the Lakers are officially in the playoffs. Some thought we could never make it. We wasn't gonna make it. I had my doubts. We had Russell Westbrook, but as soon as we got him out the door, the playoff door swung wide open, and we chased that bad boy down. AD and LeBron, we're coming for number 6, man. It's coming. Ooh, I can feel the chills,
Ugh.
man. Ooh,
They ain't got no
yeah.
sense and no reason to be in the position to be where they're at in the playoffs, but yet here we go again, seeing the Lakers in the playoffs in a
What's
tough
the
match
NBA
for the
without the
Grizz.
Lakers in the playoffs, man?
Yeah, I guess you can't have the NBA without
This,
LeBron James in the playoffs,
you
right?
can't have the NBA without the Lakers in the playoffs. This is bigger than LeBron. Without the
Uh,
Lakers in the playoffs. Just like I said, the Giants needed to get back. The NFL is great when the Giants win. The same thing about the Lakers, you could say. The NBA is far better when the Lakers are in the playoffs. Um,
Well,
it's going down.
I'm just super excited to see what a parade looks like in Phoenix with all the elderly people that live there, all
Man,
the Suns fans. I don't know how they're gonna get around and celebrate, but it'll be interesting to see how they do a parade this year.
yeah, but luckily, they got a lot of green screen. They can just act like they won because that's all it's going to be is an act. Because we know the Suns aren't going to win the NBA championship. Just get down to brass tacks there. Um,
We'll see.
good team, quality opponents, but we'll see. Once we knock out uh, these young boys here, uh, get the train rolling. What they say, get the axles greased and everything. Once that freight train gets to rolling, it's hard to stop. So we gonna see Laker
Who we
Nation.
who we picking out of the East? Are we going Boston or are we going 76ers?
I'm still going with my original pick. I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Mm.
Consistently all year, they've been the team to beat in the East, in my opinion, and they still high ranking on top of the mountain. Giannis, man, like I said, another locomotive, man. It's hard to stop that train once it gets rolling.
I feel like I might actually just take the leap and say the 76ers. I might leave Boston alone now that we're at the beginning part of the true NBA season, the playoffs.
Right.
Um, I think I'm gonna ride the 76ers Suns little
I'm
dream
not
matchup for
surprised
me.
that you said that. I'm actually surprised that you stuck with Boston more than what you did. Uh, but yeah, Sixers dude, Joel Embiid's probably gonna be MVP, man. This dude he's playing lights out basketball, unbelievable basketball, really. Um,
It's pretty much coin flip to me. It's him or the Joker. Well, who's gonna do it? And it could be he came in strong late,
it's
so we'll see.
Embiid time. I believe it's Embiid time. The race is kind of tight, but I'm thinking it's Joel Embiid.
Be I hope so too. I'm a
Right,
fan,
man.
so
It's about time. Get the black man another MVP. Let's get one. It's been a minute. It's time to bring one home. Let's do
man, you ain't
that.
lying.
It's been a minute. Let's bring one home. Uh, but no, folks. What you came here for? We're gonna get right on into it. The most uh what's the word I'm looking for? Really, this is really the highly touted this, making up a word,
Most
division in the
anticipated.
NFL. Like it really is, because really, in all reality, when you look at the AFC West, if Kansas City wasn't just such a glaring favorite because of Patrick Mahomes, this thing would be tighter than it looks. It wouldn't look like such a devastating, like, when Stone Cold came back to clear the locker room from ECW and WCW, it wouldn't look so terrible. But considering it is what it is, we have to live in reality. Kansas City, my baby. We're gonna keep it rocking. We're gonna start off with a team who I despise the most out of any team in the NFL, and I'm almost mad that I drew the stick on this one. Talking about it now, it's like making my throat dry. I'm getting sick almost. If y'all can hear the change in my voice, folk, I'm trying to muscle through it.
who
Denver. Oh
who
god.
would you pick there?
Oh
Who
god.
did you what is this
Oh god.
magical mythical team that
I'm
brings on sickness to the throat?
trying. Oh, the best thing about this state is Sierra, the Denver Broncos. Oh my God. How do you fix the Broncos? First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I have to get this off my chest. You can't. You can't. You cannot fix. They're unfixable. For the foreseeable future, they are broken because you know why? They're broke in the bank, and they got a broke quarterback who's broken in will, who's broken in body, and like I said, he lucky Sierra came to Denver with him because that's the only highlight of this trip besides fleecing Walmart. Um, the Broncos. Where do I start? In my opinion, the quarterback situation is still a situation. I think if Russell come out playing terribly, everybody's like, I really think they need to blow this thing up. Everybody's on the board in this franchise to me. If Russell don't get it done by week 6, I think he's on the bench. Stedham or whoever the boy is they got as backup is going to end up playing. They're going to try to make some move next year at quarterback. I just see it happening. Russell's past his expiration date. Pete Carroll and showed the world that he was under my system. I make him look good. I know how to get the little guy where he needed to be. Not so much in Denver. Um, the D line, y'all traded everything away. And for as many people as they traded, they got no capital back. Like I mean, like you literally, I can't think of a win-win in any of these trade situations. Like even now, you need defensive line, you need corners, you need offensive linemen. The only thing you pretty much added was one corner in Tremont Smith. You got Zach Allen, who's not mediocre, but he's okay. And then you got
It's an improvement.
some Perone, the little running back from Cincinnati.
Right.
Really? Like these are the steps y'all taking, and people really think that they're going to beat the Chiefs at least once next year, or even be in
Well, they got
contention. You got to be dreaming.
the big addition's got to be Sean Payton, right?
I forgot he was even there. That's how much of a splash that was. He's not even the best. He's not the best coach. He's not even. I'd say he's probably the third best coach in the division now. Sean Payton.
Third.
Only only because there's a complete idiot out there in Vegas. If there wasn't an absolute moron out there in Vegas, I'd almost slide Sean Payton before.
I put Sean Payton. I think that's disrespectful. I'd put Sean Payton above
Why?
Staley.
Why?
Staley hasn't accomplished anything. Uh, at least he's got a Super Bowl
Man, but
and all kinds
that's what
of.
drew him up and breathe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
That's
not
what.
saying that's the situation he's in now
Yeah,
today,
right.
right? I do agree. They are severely handicapped at that quarterback position, but he's the second best coach in the division by
I
a
don't
pretty
think
good
so.
margin.
I don't think so. But we'll beg to differ on that, and then this season will really play a part in that. We're gonna keep an eye on this one closely. Um, they only got about 6 million in salary cap. Uh,
Mm.
the draft is pretty much done. They traded away everything,
Everything, we
everything,
everything. We ain't got
everything.
nothing.
No, we got a
Uh,
few picks, but they
oh
traded away
man,
everything for guys who aren't even on the team no more. And then for one guy, like I said, who's just fleecing you. You got all your picks are irrelevant,
mm.
almost. Your first two picks are going to be the most decent picks that you got. Round 3, number
Round three.
67. Round 3, number
Ooh,
67, and number 68. That's it. After that,
those
your
are
pick 108, pick 139, and your very last pick of the draft in round six, pick 195.
so we got four in the top 150, but we're not picking till round three.
Good night.
Oof. Yeah, that's kind of rough. So what is okay? So in theory, in round three, what is their biggest? What do we think we're grabbing in round three? What do you think they're going to get? Is there anything?
There,
Uh,
there's
I mean,
probably
it's
not
not
even
a qual.
nothing worth keeping. Hopefully, they're getting some linemen because they need them. They lost a bunch of guys in free agency. They re-signed some guys, but they're pretty much bums. Some spots on their depth chart are just completely empty. They need another
Hmm.
safety, not to mention playmakers at wide receiver or tight end. Like they
Oh, you
need so
mean
much.
one? You mean just anybody that can get 1,000 yards? Like
Anybody,
an
just
actual,
anybody,
like just
just
like
a
one
playmaker,
player to
just
player to
one
actually,
playmaker,
huh?
just
Yeah.
one,
Well, you
just
see, I
one.
think that's the other thing that really hurt Russell Wilson is he came in from a situation where he had two 1,000 yard wide receivers to none,
But remember
and
what
when
he was
you,
saying? He was making all these boys look good. He said, Jerry Judy
mm,
gonna look the best. What ain't that? What he was saying, and all that
mm.
jazz.
Did Judy get 1,000 yards?
No,
No,
stop
no,
playing.
no. I
The
know. I knew the
Bronco.
answer. It was a rhetorical answer for all the
Oh,
Broncos
oh,
fans
he's the
watching.
Bronco.
Just so you know, we all know. No, none of you guys got 1,000 yards.
None.
It doesn't happen. Uh,
So, in an
so
ideal world, we blow this whole thing up. Uh, like I said, I don't even
mm,
think it was a coaching situation. The people think they got better in the coaching realm. I don't. I don't think Sean Payton
I
increases
think
your
it's a
wins,
highlight.
losses in this division. I just don't. I think even Sean Payton being the head coach of the Denver Broncos, they still finish last in the division. Mark my words. Wait and see. I'm telling you. There's nothing
Well,
about the Broncos that scream contender.
and everything I've heard from Sean Payton talking about the team, he would actually agree 100% with what you said. He doesn't see it either, and it's wild to think about, in my opinion.
Like there's no way. Like there's no way for y'all to get good within the foreseeable future.
Mm.
This is probably going to go on another 5 years. You done shot yourself in the foot. It all started. You effed yourselves over when you signed Peyton Manning. You gave him all
Mm.
that money, and then he started throwing them ducks had to retire. Then you thought Brock Oscarberger Weiler, whatever the boy name was going to be the ticket. Gave him all that money, and he was a bum. And then y'all, what do y'all do after that? With y'all terrible GM, and like I said, John Elway finally left the organization. You want to know
That
why?
might help.
You
That
want to know
might help.
why? Right, it might help, but you want to know why? Because he know it ain't going nowhere. That thing is
Mm.
done. He ran it into the ground as deep as he could.
Well, it protects his legacy. You
It
know,
does that too.
he's he's locking up. Hey, guy Broncos ever had John Elway. You won't be able to tell because he made sure of that.
He made sure of it.
No doubts.
He made sure of it. And so, like I said, you blow that whole thing up from top to finish. You almost want to ask the league if y'all can just start over like an expansion team and reset
Mm.
your whole roster. Like goodness gracious, it's terrible there. It's tire fire season. It's a dumpster fire. Y'all don't have enough for me to tell y'all how to fix this. Y'all don't have enough capital. You got $7 million. Like you're gonna need that to probably get one other person who's gonna come to Denver reluctantly because nobody else picked him up. So he's gonna come there. Then you gotta have money to sign your third rounders and all them trash folk you gonna get.
Not
So I
much.
mean, like I
That's
said, there's not much. What? How can I help y'all? Like really, help me, help y'all, help me to understand how I'm gonna fix these Broncos with what they got. Like y'all spent the last 5 years killing yourself. Uh, if you slit your wrist vertically, there's nothing I can do to stop the bleed. I'm sorry. It's what's done is done.
mm. I agree
In
with
my
you there.
Marcus Spears voice, what's done is done. Ah, I just can't. I just can't.
Well, and folks, that's the Broncos segment. Let us know in the comments how you truly feel. If you think you can magically do something different,
Tell
if you've
me.
got some, yeah, help us help you. That's all we've got for you for the Broncos.
Amen. Goodness gracious. Oh, that was so hard. I feel so dirty, folks, having to talk about them. These folks for an extended amount of time. It's been over 10 minutes talking about horses and donkeys. Mr. KC, come on. Tell us who we fixing next, man. Tell me who's on your list.
Well, that dude with the beard, we've got another slight dumpster fire to talk about tonight, and that
Ooh, it's
is
gotta
the
be
Las
Vegas.
Vegas Raiders. You're right. Good guess there. Uh, and this is actually, before I did the research, I assumed this was actually a bigger dumpster fire than the Broncos.
Never.
Come to
That
find
fire
out,
ain't
Raiders fans, we truly do feel a little more confident about your situation.
sneak wild
Listen,
card.
listen here, you've downgraded in a lot of positions. So we need to do a lot of work to kind of get us back on track and get us at least ahead of these Broncos,
Ooh.
maybe even in contention with the Chargers, if we're lucky. So, as everyone knows, we got rid of Derek Carr and we've gone to Jimmy G.
Hmm.
I feel like it's a very sideways, maybe even lower move. Um, the biggest other concerning thing is we got rid of Waller to the New York Giants, and it got you a third round pick, which is okay, but it's a, it's hard to fill the tight end position, and he's definitely a
Mm-mm.
big playmaker and a big hole for the Raiders to fill.
Probably the fourth best tight end in the league, y'all. Top five for sure.
Right, but the good thing is we're looking at like 12 draft picks here. We have all the draft picks in the world.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
no real cap money. So all everything we have to do is gonna have to be through the draft. And unfortunately, their their cap space is all on offense, and it
Mm,
makes no sense when you look at this offense. So first round pick, we get pick number 7. And if you're them, you gotta, the hot pick for everyone is defensive tackle Jalen Carter. If
mm-hmm.
you can get him, this be a perfect fit for him. I
You
think.
need him.
Um, you got to be kind of concerned as a Raider fan drafting someone with character issues. Like
True.
look at all these first round draft picks we're supposed to have and we don't have because of character issues. So I do get a little bit nervous about this Carter pick for the Raiders. But another pick that I think could be real interesting for him is in round 2, pick number 38. This is real early in the second round. They might get that quarterback, Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. This might be
Mm,
a good chance to maybe get a quarterback of the future. Maybe if one of these quarterbacks slides, if Anthony Richardson slides a bit for some reason, maybe you get him in the first
take a
round at
flyer
number
on him,
7.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe you can move up a little bit. We've got a lot of draft capital here. We also got a lot of needs. You need a linebacker, safety, obviously tight end.
Hmm.
Um, we've got needs at offensive center, offensive tackle.
Didn't they lose
Uh,
the running back too? Didn't Jacobs go?
Josh Jacobs. I forgot. I forgot what happened to Jacobs. I believe they got him on the franchise tag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe they tagged him. So you can't let Josh Jacobs go.
Man.
You really, this is one of your last shining stars. Um, and of course, like everybody else, you need cornerback and safety. Um, in the top 100, we've got 4 picks, including the 100th pick. So that's, first round, second, and a couple thirds.
Right.
and really, you get a fourth at 109 too. So that's real high picks, and then another one in the top 150, and a bunch of late rounds that you can either trade up and do some more damage in the fourth or third round with, or just really build some solid depth that this team can probably try to use. I feel like a lot of people will talk about training up, and I kind of like the ideal, but we really might need all the darts we can to throw at the board and
Right.
to hit on as many of these positions as we can. I know these fifth and sixth and seventh round picks are really kind of junky, but we have seen success in that round from players before, so I don't give up on them completely just yet. But that's
Vegas, Vegas.
yeah, that's the Vegas situation. I, I believe we are in the roughest quarter coaching situation in
Hmm.
the division. There's a reason this is a dumpster fire. There's a reason Derek Carr is no longer playing for this franchise, and I think it's a coin flip if they can actually get past the Broncos. But I think this might. We really need a hit on the draft if we're not going to finish fourth place with the Raiders, in my opinion.
Yeah, because at this point, I believe it's the Vegas spot to lose. I mean,
We
them
picked
they're
up
in such
Jacoby Myers.
disarray. How?
We got Jacoby Myers.
Okay. I mean, well, okay.
And,
That's
yeah,
not bad. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? It doesn't jump off the page, but
yeah,
it's not bad. It's more
yeah.
than what Denver's done. So I mean, hey, we
Right.
can't really be too upset about that. So I'm just like, goodness
uh,
gracious. Yeah, definitely the coaching situation is the worst out of everybody except for Sean Payton coaching the Broncos. Um,
mm.
like I said,
No, I'm taking
if he
Sean Payton.
like I said, if he just wasn't an absolute idiot, it'd be different. But if you have someone who's semi competent, maybe he's going to an Andy Reid class or two over the offseason. Who knows? Maybe he's learning something because for a while Andy would make those same mistakes, man. Maybe it's just adjustments, clock adjustments. I don't know, but
It's
they
everything.
got to do something if they're going to be in contention.
Bill
Uh,
Belichick gave him the wrong playbook.
right.
Here, take this one.
Oh, no, for
Uh,
real. Yeah, folks. So normally here we would do back and forth kind of situation when it comes to fixing these teams, but I'm gonna let Mr. KC jump right into how to fix this next team here because this was a highly touted debate situation about a week ago of one of these players on this team, but you know we'll hear Mr. KC talk about it. We'll see what they need to do. Regale us, my man.
well, folks, if you've not noticed, we are saving the best for last. So, eeny, meeny, mighty, mo leaves us with the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, Chargers, Chargers, Chargers. What a almost franchise, right?
Oh
We almost did something in the playoffs. We were up 27-0, looking good, ready to go to Arrowhead. This was exciting times. We haven't seen the playoffs in a few years, so this is a big step for Herbert. First time he's made the playoffs.
no.
It's
Hmm.
nice to see Allen and Williams, you know, uh, accomplish something throughout a season, even though most of them don't show up most of the time. We have $14.7 million in cap space. Basically, leaves us enough for the draft picks and a couple of low end free agent kind of deals, maybe some veteran minimum kind of things. Looking at this draft, we have first round is the 21st pick. We've got a
Hmm.
second 54 and third 85. So we got three in the top 100. A lot of
Okay.
the needs, a lot of the needs for this team is wide receiver, tight end, safety, cornerback, offensive lineman. Um,
Everything.
yeah, a lot of people actually throw in edge rusher in this category, which I think is nonsense. If you have Joey Bosa and Baker Mayfield, you're probably good enough at the edge position that we should really kind of focus on the positions of need. So I think early on we might actually see a wide receiver get picked or a cornerback, in my opinion.
Yeah, because as long as you got Mike
The,
Williams and Keenan Allen, you're not going to make too many splashes.
yeah, and well, and the problem is they're both getting kind of older, especially Keenan Allen, and with Herbert coming up on a contract, you're gonna have to free up a little cap space, I think.
Hmm.
So both these guys could be on the chopping block. Might be time to look at a wide receiver. I have interior offensive line on my list. I think that's more of a want than a need. I think offensive line's more of a depth position at this point for the Chargers. Um, and even at tight end, they have Everett, so I think that's kind of another luxury. So I see them kind of hitting that cornerback and safety and wide receiver position pretty hard. J.C. Jackson is still a question mark at cornerback, so it just leaves you Asante Samuel and I believe his name's like Davis or something like that.
Yeah.
And who he did pretty good too, but you still need more depth at the minimum. So it'd be interesting to see what they hit. I don't think we have a ton of bullets. It's just a pretty much a standard draft picks, 1 through 7, and they're kind of did too well to get good draft picks positions. We got a lot of looming questions because of Herbert's contract next season. He's due to get paid, and I believe you're going to have to spend a pretty good chunk of money on Herbert pretty quickly.
Hmm.
And I think this is an all in kind of situation. So, whatever we do with the draft for the Chargers, it's a must hit. We really need a wide receiver and a cornerback and probably a safety to be successful out of this draft. And I wouldn't mind pulling two of each and maybe an offensive lineman in like the sixth, seventh round, kind of give you some depth.
Could be feasible. They do have a need for skilled players. Definitely have a need for safety on that side of the ball. Um, I'm in agreement with you. They're probably going to give Herbert the book and then some, and it's really going to set the next precedent for markets. Because then after that, if Lamar doesn't end up getting paid, he's going to get a fat deal. Then Joe Burrow's going to get a fat deal, and it's pretty much going to rock the foundation for years to come, probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
the question becomes who's the $60 million guy?
right,
Who's that going to be?
right.
Who's the first one there?
It's
Could
probably gonna
be,
be Joe Burrow. You know
could
how
be.
they like
Yeah,
it.
I think you might. I think you might get a comfortable 50. You're going to be right about the same money as Mahomes. I think with Herbert.
52.
Yeah, right. Just because it's a little bit newer of a contract.
Right. No, I'm with you though. The Chargers are by far the second best team in the AFC West. It's really no contention at this point. Not even really worth talking about. Um, it is still surprising they made the playoffs last year, considering all the talent around the league, but they did just enough to get in, and people lost just enough to lose their spot. So can't complain about that. So
Hmm.
J.C. Jackson, just to touch on that again, like I said when we was talking about it last year, on paper they look great, but like I always tell you, these corners they leave the Patriots and they be trash everywhere else they go. They turn into journeymen. He's gonna be Stephon Gilmore not too long. So
Hmm.
I hate for it to sound that way. It's just when you leave those certain systems, you get exposed. I mean, exposed to certain things that was, not in your original coverage when they was masking your weaknesses because they knew how to play you out there. And then you go to another team, highly touted, supposed to be the man. You get down there looking like, who is this guy?
Yeah, yeah. To be honest with you, it just really feels like if they had a great medical staff, the
Mm.
Chargers would actually probably have a Super Bowl. I mean, on paper, it's just so many Pro Bowl level talent. Like even guys that like even if they didn't make the Pro Bowl, would have arguments for the
Still
Pro
pretty
Bowl.
good, right?
Yeah, like even yeah, it's just like A to Z on that roster, and
What are
it's
they going
so
to do at
close.
running back?
That's a question. It's just still a
Mm.
question. You know, maybe you draft a guy, and that's what I would kind of lean towards. Why? And I think that's what they're leaning towards too. They know they're going to have to pay Herbert, and to be honest with you, look at the Chargers' history. Running back has been dime a dozen as it's been going since
True.
LT. You know, the Chiefs were on a great running back run for the longest until that ended after Jamal Charles. And then, you know, the Chargers, their running back streak hasn't ended yet. If it was me, just like you told Melvin Gordon, hey, I appreciate your time here. It was awesome having you, but we can't afford to break the bank off you. It just doesn't make sense. And that's what I would tell Eckler. I'm just forced to do it. Sorry, buddy. I like you.
Good player.
You're a good player.
So,
Good luck.
right. No, pretty much. Uh, ladies and gents, that's pretty much it on the Chargers.
hmm That's all I've got. Good.
Not a lot to do, but at the
All I can
same
say
time,
is I do have one last sentence.
mm,
That's the Jags. Out of all the teams, the Jags, 27-0. The
hmm
Jags. Thanks a lot for making the division look fantastic.
hmm
The
my boy,
Jags.
my boy, Android 17 down there, the prince
Mm.
that was promised, the Android prince that was promised. Let's do it. Shout out to my boy. Uh, so we gonna move on, ladies and gentlemen, and like Mr. KC said, we kept the best for last, and really, I'm saying this is it's almost comedic, but or it's biased, or however people gonna want to paint it, because it's a Chiefs heavy situation, but there's nothing to fix pretty much here in Kansas City. This is the land of champions. We have a phrase called "trust in Beach." We just let
Mm.
Brett cook, honestly, and he does his thing. And his first few drafts, I would say, were missing. He missed a lot. Them is just learning curves. But these last few, man, he's been hitting them out the park. Um, we got a couple key additions here. We lost a couple of people. People will talk about, oh, what about the people we lost? In my opinion, we lost nobody who was an X factor. Juju's gone. Okay, that's replaceable. McColl's gone. He was already replaced with Sky Moore because he can't stay healthy anyway. But shout out to the Jet anyway. The Jet went to the Jets, so enjoy
Yeah.
that. You know, whatever.
It'd be interesting to
Kudos.
see what he does.
Yeah, I hope you ball out. Really do. I really do. I hope you don't become a Dexter McCluster story because that was my boy too.
Yep.
Uh,
And we did do a McCole Hardman giveaway this year,
exactly.
signed picture. So make sure you tune in, folks. We do giveaways
We
from
do
time to time.
giveaways, and we got a lot of signed stuff. I still got to sign Tyreek Hill that somebody can claim. Probably when we get to subscriber number 10,000 or 1,000. Who knows? We'll see. Um, but yeah, we've added Drew Tranquil, Juwan Taylor, Charles Omenihu, and that's pretty much it as far as splash right now. But I mean, looking at what we've already got and what we lost, we're not really too far off because we have receivers that's been on injury reserve that we've been building up, soaking them in with the training staff, getting them ready. We got some of those players coming back. We still got the greatest tight end. We still got the greatest quarterback. We still got the best coach in the NFL. And if Steve Spagnuolo's defense keep winning the Super Bowls, I would go as far as to say one of the top tier coordinators in the league as far as defensively.
Look at his
Uh,
resume.
it's
His
stout,
res.
dude.
Woof.
It's
You want to talk
stout.
about collecting rings? What's he got now? 4 or 5? Like he's starting to
He's I think he's up
get a
to
little
three.
chunky.
I think
I
he's
think
up
it's
to
4.
three.
I
4?
think, yeah, he had 2 with the Giants.
I think he was only on one of them Giants
Oh,
teams. I
was the
think he was
only
on
one
the
of the
second
Giants?
Giants
I
team.
think that's where I might be mistaken.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was Spags on both of the.
No, because because when they won the first one, he was the coach out in no, 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 no. After they won the second Super Bowl, he then left and became the coach of Detroit for a couple years and got fired
And
from down there.
they're terrible.
Yeah, dude.
Well, it's the
Romeo
Lions.
Cornell, you gotta be like Romeo, man. You gotta stay in your lane, man. He terrible head coach, but defensive coordinator, lights out. But like I said, not too many positions we need to address. We can always get another receiver. We can always get one. I mean, we
I
probably
think we
signed a
need.
few already.
I think we need to draft a wide receiver.
I think we will, but my thing is, I think they're banking on Justin Ross and John Ross coming in and being the extra two that we need, and with all that 4-3 speed, Legion of Zoom reborn. Uh, but
Uh,
as
I,
far as go ahead.
I know that's a common hope in theory, but my bold prediction is neither one of those guys takes a snap this season.
Well, I'm glad that you've been wrong so many times over the year, because
It's
this
happened.
is another moment, ladies
Mm,
and gentlemen.
we're not going to see it. It's going to be other people's
John Ross
faults.
is not going to take a snap. He's already a pro. He'll be on the field, and I'm sure the other boy, Justin Ross, will be on the field. He's the only rookie I know who's got a guaranteed deal,
It's true.
so I'm sure he's going to touch the field. If it turns into longevity, that might be different, but he's going to touch the field. He's got to. Uh, but as far as these picks, we got quite a few. Round one, I think we take a lineman. Um, More than likely, if he's still there, we take Dewan Jones from Ohio State, my boy. Slide a bench, shore up that offensive line. Second pick, we probably take a D tackle. We get some more help down there for Chris Jones, probably Tareem Benson, another Ohio State Buckeye who might be around for that pick number 63. And
Mm,
then after that, we got pick number 95, third rounder, which could really go anywhere. We don't really have a need for tight end. I can see them using maybe that like a depth. Uh, Maybe there's your wide receiver, number
right.
69.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, number 95. I mean, that's probably your wide receiver. Pick number 122, guy from Miami, fourth round pick. Probably a corner, build some depth there because we still got all the same guys as far as corners last year. All the rookies, obviously, becoming sophomores now. So I feel more comfortable about that secondary. And we re signed Brian Cook, and we still got the young rookie Cook at safety, too. So we might get a safety at that spot, I can see. Or if we still got enough money, depending on free agency, probably pick somebody up who's going to be feasible. Um, After that, we got pick 134, and then it starts to taper off after that, round five, pick number 166. But after that, we still got picks in the sixth and the seventh rounds. And with Brett Veach, he might find a few diamonds in those sixes and sevens. He
Right.
just that's just what he does. He's got a rookie corner who's got a pick in the Super Bowl and a pick six on Justin Herbert. Shout out to my boy Josh Williams. Uh, you got another rookie, like I said, back there playing safety who assisted with the Super Bowl pick. Like I said, flying around, making good tackles all year. Um, I'm excited about what they're doing in that backfield. And like I said, the rest you pick up for just competition, just to see if they're hungry enough we can make it.
I could see them picking up another running back as well.
I can too, but that's probably gonna be Ezekiel Elliott or some guy who's sitting out there who's going to want a little proven situation. And who's better to do that than my boy Zeke? The only thing is, he said he want his college number back, but he can't get that if he come here because that's my boy MB Pat. So we can't do
Right.
that one. But we can get you any other one, my man.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like one of those sixth or seventh rounders. Personally, throw another throw another flyer out there.
You could.
See if you can't
I think
improve on
I think
Pacheco
they
just a
re-signed
smidge.
McKinnon still too, though. I think they're
He's
just
still out
waiting.
there.
Yeah, they're just waiting and stuff. I think he's probably denied some deals on the under knowing Casey's coming back for him. Uh, like I said, they're just waiting for the draft to see how things shake out. And luckily, the draft is what are we 2 weeks away now from the draft, so We're gonna see. Tickets is crazy, but we're gonna try to get down there anyway and get some footage. Um, but yeah, there's not too much to fix in Kansas City. And like I said, I know it sounds biased, but we just let Brett Beach cook. And
Right,
obviously he knows what he's doing. He's probably the best GM in the NFL right now besides John Lynch. Because John Lynch the only other dude I see putting together teams that are good to go for years. And
right.
contract wise good to go for years. You're not overpaying anybody, which I
Yeah,
love.
I would say in Veach we trust. Yep, that's all you can say about that one.
Yeah. So shout out to my boy Brett. Keep doing your thing, man. Shout out to Coach Reed. And of course my boy Pat Terrell and the Kansas City Chiefs, man. We just gonna keep doing it. You talk about bold prediction. We win the AFC again and we go to the Super Bowl next year and win that too. Bank on it.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, folks, we just had a comment from dude with a beard, and he mentioned John Lynch. And speaking of John Lynch, it brings up this week's versus battle. We have a fight going on in San Francisco. It started to create such a conversation between dude with a beard and myself that we've got to try to settle the debate. Who are you taking? Or is the 49ers going to go with Trey Lance with the dude with the beard? Or are they going to stick with Brock Purdy like I'm thinking they should probably do?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is clear cut. You stick with the guy who you wanted to be your guy. You drafted this man high for a reason. You drafted Brock Purdy last for a reason because he's just the guy you picked up. Um, Trey Lance is the future of this franchise. He's the future quarterback out there. He's the guy that you wanted. He's a proven FCS champion. He knows how to play at a high level. Walter Payton Award winner, Jerry Rice Award winner. Uh, I mean, all the collegiate accolades are there. Transitioning to the league, you know, it's been a transition. You had messy things happening in the front office. They weren't sure what they wanted to do in certain situations. So certain things are outside your control. But now that the dust is settling, it's all in. It's Trey Lance time. I know Brock Purdy came in and he won a few games, but like I said, with this team being that good, the roster being that good, hell, I could have went in and won some games. Like, what are we talking about? Anybody could. Jacoby Brissett probably could
Yeah.
have took them to the Super Bowl. Like if like uh, it
It's
is
funny you say.
it's built for Trey Lance to succeed into this offense because of the team they built to put around him. They built this team to give it to Trey Lance and the way
It's
he can run the offense.
it's wild that you say anybody can get a win with this team
Hmm.
when both these quarterbacks have played this year with that team,
Uh huh.
and only one of them really has a loss between the two of them, and it's not Brock Purdy, it's Trey Lance.
What do you mean he has the loss? What are you talking about?
Trey Lance
Did
was
Brock Purdy win a Super Bowl?
no.
Okay, then. So what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, he left the game super early. Like he was 5-0 before just getting absolutely mollywopped because tight ends blocking and whatnot.
Fragile, young Brock. That's all
Fragile.
I'm
Look at
hearing.
Trey Lance.
Trey
Was
Lance.
was
Trey Lance was he got hurt because for one, it was a dirty play. Everybody know it, and for two, it was early on in the season, no gel to the team yet. All the stuff they're trying to work these things out. Brock Purdy came in to a situation that was already scorching hot, blazing on fire. They was already on a 7 game win streak before he took over.
right.
So it's hard for me to say that this man carried a team anywhere when really the team just told him don't fuck this up.
And he did it. And
He
and and,
did.
uh, and I'm
He
not saying Brock.
he did.
I'm not saying Brock Purdy's out here Captain Save yo. You know what I'm saying? But what I am just saying is if you look, I just kind of look at the eye test. and we've yet to see anything significant out of Trey Lance. He's been a project since he was drafted. There was a reason he was planned to be benched to develop, and he's never really gotten there. We haven't seen it. If what we don't have much of a sample size from either one of these guys, right? It's really 5 games versus 4. It's not a huge sample sizes,
My
but
thing is, you can't you can't put front office turmoil on Trey Lance just because they was confused about what they was going to do with Jimmy G, and obviously from them wanting to trade Jimmy G for the last 2 years before they could finally get him out the door, they wanted Trey Lance to be the starter. So I mean, it wasn't more of a project situation. It was okay. We already paid this dude this money. Would we not get out of our investment? I mean, wouldn't
well,
that
I
make
mean,
sense?
well, you're talking about investment. Look what they gave up for Trey Lance to get there.
Right. So why do you think they would give up on him now for the last pick of the draft when he came into a hot situation?
Because the last
You
pick of
don't
the
think they
draft,
learned from
the
this
last pick
Kaepernick
of the
Alex
draft,
Smith situation yet? Don't you think they learned their lesson?
I feel like this is kind of that lesson. Go with a secure guy. Uh, Purdy was out here with a 67% passing completion ratio, which might not sound impressive to you, but if you look at Trey Lance's, it was 54.9%. He didn't even break 55%.
Yeah, and
We're
that's
talking
that's been a lesser that's
12% more.
lesser games too. Right.
Well, it is
And he
lesser
played
games because
right. And he
he's
played
playing
more
less.
games and he could only get 12% ahead of a dude who ain't played since week 3.
Well, that's actually for his career. So we're even throwing the couple games he played in the year before. And it gives
Mix
you a
them up.
50. Uh,
Mix
And
them
it's
up however
just
you want.
and if you look at the touchdown to interception ratio, it's 13-4, which is like a 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio for Purdy, right?
Uh-huh.
And you go to Trey Lance, it is 5-3. So you got 5 touchdowns in 4 games and 3 interceptions. I
Okay.
mean, we're that's not like blowing
Well,
anyone out the water.
yeah. Well, let's look
He's
at the
doubling it.
let's look at this. Let's look at the teams that they were playing with. When Brock Purdy threw these touchdowns and his stuff, he was already playing with the well-oiled playoff machine who had just traded for Christian McCaffrey. When
True.
Trey Lance was playing, they weren't nearly doing that. Debo wasn't playing. The other dude, who was the other receiver? I can't remember. He wasn't playing. Like they were missing a lot of key pieces during his run. So
I
we can't evaluate off of that because the strength of the team was not the same.
So you really think to start of the season we're going to see Trey Young or
We're gonna
Trey
see
Lance?
Trey Lance because
So,
he's your third overall pick. You're not gonna move on from a guy just as quick just because the backup came in and did his job.
mm, he did his job real good,
That's why we
real,
pay you. Thank you.
real fantastic,
Like I said,
and it looked
hey, so if that's
statistically,
the
it
case,
just
go ahead.
statistically it's just light years above what Trey Lance
It's
or
not
yeah.
like it's not like years. It's two different. It's totally two totally different situations. We have a guy who was drafted to replace the starter that was disgruntled and fought to keep his job, and so he didn't get to play a lot. And then we move into his second year when he's still in the same situation because of Jimmy G. Then he starts to play and he gets hurt. So what are these light years you talking about? Like the opportunity size isn't even the same as far as what he's got.
It isn't that far apart though.
What are you?
It is getting more similar than you're probably giving it credit to. And Trey is just, I'm afraid, man. I'm afraid that you spend all those first round picks. The problem is if you do start Brock and don't trade Trey before the start of the season, you've lost all the value in him, I believe.
Well, there's no point in even worrying about that because you're not going to trade the guy who's going to run your franchise. So this is what you do: you start Trey Lance and you keep Burt Purdy on the bench where he belongs. It's
Mm.
simple math.
And
So
what
I
do
guess
you do?
so I guess Chad Henne. I guess Chad Henne should have played the rest of the playoff run, and Pat shouldn't have played at all.
No, those are two different,
It's
completely
how is it?
levels of
Same
quarterback.
it's same
Because Chad
situation
Henney
though.
didn't have
It's
better
it,
numbers than
it's
Pat
the same
Mahomes.
shit. Yeah, he did. Passing the
No, he
ball that
didn't.
game. Yes, he
No,
did. That
no,
one
he did
drive.
not. No,
Okay,
he did not.
okay,
I mean, he
okay.
was
I
nice.
said
Don't get
okay.
don't get it twisted, but MV Pat is clearly the better quarterback. And what we've seen statistically, it's almost doubling out of production, and I just can't blame that on everything
It's not
else.
almost doubled. You're
It
hyping it.
is.
You're
There's
hyping it.
it's like 1,300 yards versus like just shy of 800 yards. And then you got like
Wait,
twice as many
what am I
touchdowns
hearing? Like what?
to interception ratio. It's just a better completion. It's like every statistical category you look at, it's going to tell you Brock Purdy's the better quarterback. If
No,
you
it's
just
gonna
put,
say it's gonna say that he's played more than Trey Lance has. Because all that is a game number difference. That's it.
one
It's
game
amount it's
difference.
amount of time played. What do you how are we not understanding this? Okay.
I understand you. I see
Tell
what you're
me how many
saying.
games Trey Lance played this year. Do you even
Two,
know?
two.
Okay. Right.
And he was one and
And how
one.
many huh?
He was 1-1.
And how many games did he get to play last year with the like I said with the
Two,
whole right.
1-1 again.
And so are you saying that that's off of performance or is that not front office situation?
I mean, we was just talking about how this front office is shooting pretty excellent out here, right?
I
Like,
said okay. This is what you I see what he's trying to do this for the sake of the argument, folk, but he knows literally exactly what I'm talking about right now. And I'm sure y'all do too. So y'all seeing the facts here. It doesn't make sense to compare a body of work from a guy who hasn't got as much opportunity to
he,
play
and
versus
I'll
a
say
guy
he had,
who had to play because there was nobody else left. Like, what are we talking about?
and when there was nobody else left, he kind of looked like the
He
best out of
did.
the
He did.
three.
No, he didn't. Jimmy G was the best out of the three. The same dude
Mm,
who's been the best out of the three for the last few years.
mm, mm. I mean, he might.
All he do is go to the NFC Championship game more than Aaron Rodgers.
I mean,
More Super Bowl appearances in the last few years than Aaron Rodgers.
Purdy was looking pretty,
And
knocking on the door there.
Purdy was looking pretty normal once they played a team who knew how to play defense.
And you know, he got third in Rookie of the Year voting.
Who did?
Purdy,
That's cool.
third.
He didn't win it. Two is
No,
not a winner, and three nobody remembers. Thank you, Nelly. What does that
right.
mean?
well,
What does that mean?
that's why I mentioned it. So hopefully everyone remembers that he
No,
almost did okay.
they won't. They won't. They won't remember it. The only thing they'll remember about Brock Purdy is if somehow by some miracle he outplays Trey Lance and he gets to start. And then he'll start a few games and they realize they made a mistake and then he'll be right back to obscurity and they'll be right back to Trey Lance if it happens that way.
And I really feel like it's actually going to be kind of the exact opposite of what you had just said. I feel like you give Trey Lance a very short leash if you're going to go with Trey, and then
Why does he earn a short lease and Brock Purdy doesn't?
because the fans aren't going to sit here and let him get more than 4 games, 4 to 6 games, and then if he's not out here blowing it up like Purdy
Well,
was,
luckily we don't let the fans determine what happens on the field with the players.
we do
So
sometimes. We do occasionally. I remember when the Chiefs fans flew a banner above the Chiefs Stadium and we got Pioli fired. It was a
he was on his
glorious.
way out anyway because he was
He was.
terrible.
He was.
He
But
was terrible.
we made our voice aware.
No, now see if this was DC and you was talking about releasing the Snyder cut of the Justice League film, I'll be right there with you. It's the only time I ever seen social media make a billion dollar conglomerate fold. But I can guarantee you, John Lynch and them do not care if the fans is out there mad because Brock Purdy ain't playing. They do not care. They're gonna wait and see what their investment can do. With the same time they gave a guy who they had no plans of even playing. That's what
They
I'm
didn't.
saying. In my mind, why don't you give the guy who you picked to be your guy the same chance that you gave him? Now that you know you got Jimmy G out the door.
Well, let me ask you this: when they drafted Tom Brady, how much starting time did you anticipate Tom Brady having?
Who, me? I was. I didn't.
Anybody?
I didn't. Didn't nobody care? Cause
Belichick. Was Belichick?
Belich, I can't speak on Belichick because he probably planned for it. He's the greatest
Mm,
coach. It was
maybe.
probably a plan there. I don't know. Who's to say on that end? But like you told me earlier, that's a whole different stratosphere quarterback. Brock Purdy didn't come in and win the fucking Super Bowl like Tom did.
No, he
So
didn't.
okay then. So
He
that's
gave
what I'm
up a
saying.
little
You
show.
know what I'm saying? So
We a little show to Tom Brady,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
it had Tom Brady esque feeling to it. A little whiff of de Brady. You know.
I understand. I understand.
But
But
folks, yeah,
Drew
just let
Bledsoe
us.
was the man, and he was still the man after that until his body couldn't let him be the man no more.
And then this
Remind me of
magical
Doug
seventh
Flutie.
round draft pick that no one expected out of Michigan came the greatest of all time. This is how goats are
Well,
made.
some people
It's
knew it, but
exactly
you
what
remember if
Purdy's
you
looking
watched the
like.
30 for 30, some people knew, but everybody was impressed with the dude who they chose to start over him, the Russian dude who was just Tim Tebow before Tim Tebow, running everybody over and all that other jazz, and then get to the league
Right?
and be trash.
It happens. It happens quick.
It does. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying Brock Purdy trash. I'm not saying he's bad at all. I'm just saying he
Right.
doesn't deserve to be the starter next year.
Yeah, yeah. The
You
question.
give the man, you give Trey Lance his fair shake is what I'm saying. He hasn't gotten
Yeah.
one yet.
And I would say that's the same for me with Trey. Is I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback or a bad option. And I think he would still demand good draft compensation back for him. And that's kind of my argument for it is you could really get another
If
first round draft pick,
you
a
do
late one
and
or a
see,
second.
and this is what you do. This is the perfect situation, like I like to say, like I told a person who I had the in-house conversation with. Just like Bill Belichick. Look, if y'all are so in love with Matt Castle because of what he did for this short little stint while Tom was out, then somebody go sign Matt Castle. Get Brock
Mm,
Purdy out of there if he's that hot. Go get you some draft picks and some compensation. Do what Belichick did. Don't get rid of the guy, like I said, who you picked to run your franchise just because the backup came in and did his job. Kansas City made that mistake. So many teams make that mistake. And they go and get, and then they'll go and get said guy that's hot. And then turns out he's not.
right.
And we
But
saw it firsthand.
you can also give up your guy Eli Manning and end up with a Philip Rivers. And next thing you know, one's winning Super Bowls and the other one's Philip Rivers.
I understand. I totally get it.
Right.
Ooh.
But fans, let us know. Write down any comments. We're excited for the votes. We had a very even one last week with Herbert and uh,
It was
Trevor
even.
Lawrence.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah, it
even.
came out even. I even got some Jags fans to comment that they would choose Herbert. So that
No
was kind of
way. They're not real
surprising.
Jags fans.
Yes, and
Ain't no way.
then of course we had the illiterate type that chose some other options, including Patrick Mahomes, which was an obvious
No brainer.
yeah, obvious guy. And then some weird ones where Dolphins fans picked Tua over both of them, and I was real confused at how they thought that was an option or that was a better pick.
I take Brock Purdy before I take Tua. Now we can
Uh,
get into that conversation. Give me
that's
Brock Purdy.
that's
What?
uh,
Oh, good
that's
night.
there might be a verses in that one too.
Good night,
Yeah, but
man.
let us know, folks. Tell us how you feel.
Right, because when Tua got his fair shake, you was all over it. So happy for it. Give Trey his. That's
We'll see.
all I'm saying. Shout out to my boy Frank. Frank, we need to talk to you soon, man. I need to know what you think about this, man. Our resident 49er. We need to know what you think, man. We
Yeah,
got to get
his vote will actually count for 10 votes as a
it.
resident uh, specialist of the 49ers. We're gonna actually uh, kind of weigh his votes a little heavy in the Democratic. We care more about his opinion than yours. So your vote will still count. It will still be credited when you vote. Uh,
Yeah, it's like the electoral college. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
You vote now. You-
you're voting for him. We promise.
oh goodness gracious, America! Goodness, folks. If you had a brain, you got to vote Trey Lance, but that's a whole different story. Um, I'm just excited about, like I said, everything that's coming up. Wrestling season is picking up and it's getting hot, and we've already talked about the season that's really getting hot and the team that's coming for it all. We we about to see this thing go up, and I know Mr. KC is gonna hate it because I'm gonna pull out every Kobe Bryant jersey,
I
every
already
everything.
and this has such a Laker esque story to it too.
It does, doesn't it?
And we
It's
also
written
got
in the stone.
baseball going on, folks. Don't forget. I think the most exciting news story for baseball, especially being from the 813 now currently, is the Tampa Bay Rays are currently 13-0, the
Ooh,
longest, tied for the longest win streak to start a season.
dang there. Yeah.
Pretty impressive for a small market
Who
team.
holds the record? What was that? The Braves, maybe?
I don't know who. It was some older team. It's been a long time, and
Yeah.
it might have been the Braves.
Might have been, man. Those Braves, dude, they're just historically great. Let's
Yeah,
put it
we would
that way.
need teacher talking sports to hop on here. He'll probably hop on in the
Right.
comments and let us know.
Yeah, he
Uh,
got the numbers.
yeah, he's gonna know right off his head. I'm pretty sure. I'm confident in him.
Right. Shout out to my boy Teach, man. Great basketball content, by the way. If y'all haven't checked out his channel, you need to make sure you watch Teacher Talking Sports.
Mm.
Mm. Yes,
Right,
sir.
get taught up.
Uh, you're right. And if you don't watch it, he gonna put you in detention because that's what teachers. Because that's what teachers do.
Right, we're gonna end up making a hype video for him.
I'm trying to tell you, hey, teach, I got you. You my boy forever. Uh, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for this evening. AFC fixes. Like I said, it's not too much because you can't fix the champs because they're the champs. In Brett Veach we trust. We just gonna keep that thing rolling. Let us know in the comments, like and subscribe, of course. Let us know what you think about this Trey Lance and Brock Purdy situation. Who's gonna be the starter next year and why? Why do you think so? Give us your opinions and we'll come back with you. Mr. KC, you got anything else for the folk?
In Veach we trust. That's all I've got, folks.
yes, sir. All
Feels good.
right. Yes, sir. I'm that dude with the beard. That's Mr. KC from the A13. We're going to see y'all next week. Holla.